Good afternoon, I'm KHOU11 meteorologist Chris Ramirez. We are seeing a lot of rain here in the Houston area. It's important to note that this rain that we're seeing is not associated with Beryl. We have a frontal boundary that has stalled over central Texas, stretching as far west as Austin, San Antonio. You're able to see the storms and the showers and rain that's forming along this boundary that has moved southward throughout the early part of our day. So as we take a closer look at what's going on, we are seeing a lot of rain. You're hearing some thunder, seeing some heavy rain, and so we could be looking at some ponding on some roadways as we go and progress throughout the next hour or two. So lots of heavy rain ongoing right now across Houston. If you're just now joining, just know that this is not associated with Beryl. This is all associated with a frontal boundary that is draped across central Texas that's stretching into southeast Texas. So we're seeing the possibility for some ponding on roadways. We haven't received rain in quite a bit of time, so we could use some rain in terms of that as of now, but looking at future track, we are expecting this to linger into the hours of 3 to 4 p.m. Once we lose the daytime heating, that is going to cause those storms and those showers to start dissipating, but we could see this as late as between 5 and 6 p.m. So I know you probably see the highway signs that say a hurricane is entering the Gulf of Mexico, but this is to reassure you that this is not the impacts from Beryl. This is all thanks to a frontal boundary that is draped across central Texas into southeast Texas. So definitely keep that in mind. Be extra cautious if you are on roadways, as well as give enough space between yourself and the cars in front of you. Future track, like I said, diminishing between the hours of 5 o'clock to 6 p.m. So Beryl, let's talk about it. Let's see what we're looking at as of now. This is as of the 1 p.m. advisory. The storm has 60-mile-an-hour winds. That is tropical storm force. We are expecting this to strengthen into a hurricane just prior to landfall. It's about 450 miles just off the coast of Texas. That's still a long ways away, so there's still a lot of water for it to travel across before it makes contact with the land. And we know once it makes contact with land, it cuts off the fuel energy for that storm, and we could see some rapid intensification with this storm as it continues its way across towards the Texas coast. So as we look at the latest forecast track from the National Hurricane Center, we are expecting this to strengthen into a Category 1 hurricane. There is a possibility that this could be stronger than that, so just keep that in mind, that even though you see Cat 1, you want to prepare for those hurricanes to be just more stronger than the forecast. Just better safe than sorry in terms of making those necessary safety measures. We are expecting this to make landfall at some point early Monday morning, and then eventually by Monday evening it's going to be nearing the Houston area as a tropical storm, and eventually tapering off towards the northeast, towards Louisiana, with winds at 35 miles an hour. The good news with this storm is that weather models are indicating that it's going to be a fairly fast moving storm. It's going to be out of the area by Tuesday afternoon, so it's not going to be like a Harvey or an Allison where it just sits over the Houston area and just dumps a lot of rain. We are expecting this to be somewhat fast, but it's always, exercise caution when preparing for that. Looking at the GFS American model, this is what we're kind of coming into consensus what's going to be going on in terms of the heavier rainfall. Mostly the heavier rainfall is going to be towards the center of that circulation. So as the center of this circulation makes its contact with land, it's going to continue its way northward. We could see some heavy rain from Austin to Waco, as well as it stretching all the way up to the northeast of the Houston area. So keep in mind that there is quite a bit of rain involved, but it's going to be very isolated in nature, all thanks to the smaller size of this storm. Hearing some thunder out there right now. So if you're hearing some thunder, this is not Beryl. This is all associated with the boundary. Other hazards include those portions of the Texas coast under that hurricane watch that stretches from Brazosport to Port Lavaca, Corpus Christi, even Port Mansfield, all the way down in South Texas under that hurricane watch. Another thing to keep an eye on is the possibility for storm surge. So if you are watching and if you are along the immediate coast, that is Galveston, that is Brazosport, Port Lavaca, we could get storm surge from this storm as it nears the inland areas. Expect water inundation up to 2 to 5 feet from Port Lavaca to Brazosport, 2 to 4 feet out in Galveston, as well as 3 to 5 feet out in Corpus Christi for areas south. So keep in mind, storm surge is one of those risks associated with hurricanes as they are approaching land. So if you hear those officials talking about voluntary evacuations, heed those warnings. If you are watching from Port Lavaca, Brazosport, Matagorda, even Galveston, as we could see some water inundation and coastal flooding, sort of like what we saw with Alberto about a week or two ago. Also, we're going to have to keep an eye on the strong wind field. So like I said, that storm, Beryl, is going to be a fairly small storm. So that strong wind field, and I'm talking about tropical storm force winds, hurricane force winds, possibly Cat 1, maybe Cat 2, that's going to be around the center of the storm. So folks in Corpus Christi, Port Lavaca, likely to be dealing with some of those stronger winds. Where you see the red color, that's going to be the ultimate strongest part of the wind field, as well as those tropical storm force winds out towards the exterior of the hurricane or the tropical storm once it moves inland. And of course, once we get closer, this weather model actually only goes out to Monday evening, so I can't move it past Monday evening, but just keep in mind that we could see that tropical storm force winds and stronger wind activity for areas just to the west of Houston along I-10 near Port Lavaca, even Victoria, dealing with that strong wind field. So also the rain potential. I know this is one thing that we're also keeping in mind. It is going to dump quite a bit of rain. We could expect 5 to 7 inches of rainfall with the storm as it moves inland. So right now, weather models are showing, remember what I said, the heavier rain is going to be around the closer towards the central part of the storm, and that's expected towards the west of the Houston area. So folks in Matagorda, even portions of Austin, Central Texas, are expected to get up to 5 to 7 inches of rainfall. We cannot rule out a possible 3 to 4 inches of rain here in the Houston area. So just keep an eye on that flooding potential for areas west of Houston and south of Houston. And we could get some of that flooding here across the area. I know it takes a good probably 6 to 7 inches. This definitely rain accumulations for the Houston area to cause problems. But the good news is that we have not received any rain for quite a bit of time. We're definitely dealing with rain right now, but just keep in mind that our grounds are not as saturated as they were a month or two ago. Also, there's going to be a severe threat component with this. When you have those outer bands of a tropical storm or a hurricane, you usually get a strong severe storm threat or a tornado threat. So keep that in mind, that if you are inland or if you are from Houston, even El Campo, we could be looking at possible tornadoes in the situation as the storm nears or it's moving inland. So the Storm Prediction Center is giving tomorrow a slight risk for severe storms. This is Sunday night into early Monday morning. That will definitely be the case, that we're going to start seeing those outer bands starting to move inland by early Monday morning, and that's when we could see that tornado threat starting to increase. So even if we do not get a direct landfall, if you're watching, if you don't get a direct landfall near you, and if you're up and down the Texas coast, even across the Gulf of Mexico, just expect increasing wind, rain, and surf and seas. That does include a high rip current risk. So today's Saturday, tomorrow, Sunday, if you are along the coast, I would just stay out of the water. Don't really go in the water, because we're expecting that high rip current risk to be the case at least lasting through Tuesday and Wednesday. So heavy rain possible. Also, like I just said, that tornado threat with those outer bands as it moves inland, as well as that timing Sunday night through Tuesday evening. And we are expecting this storm to be out of the picture by late Tuesday. So if you're just now joining the stream, I'm going to go ahead and definitely restart what I've talked about so you can get a better understanding of what I'm just going to go ahead and repeat, because a lot of folks joined after the stream started. But for your 7-day forecast, of course, the KHOU 11 weather team has issued a weather impact alert for Monday and Tuesday, and because that's when we're going to be dealing with the impacts of Beryl in our 7-day forecast. So scattered showers and storms for today. We could see a similar situation tomorrow afternoon, but just keep in mind, Sunday night, Monday into Tuesday is when we're going to be dealing with the impacts of Beryl as it comes closer towards the Texas Texas coast. So scattered showers, lingering showers expected to last at least through Thursday and Friday. But just keep in mind that this storm, fast moving situation that we are anticipating. We hope it's fast moving. But of course, like we've seen with all storms, that could definitely change. And not every thunderstorm or every hurricane or tropical cyclone is the same. So if you're just now joining me and you are seeing those showers and that rain outdoors, just keep in mind that this is not associated with Beryl. This is all associated with a frontal boundary that is making its way across Texas. I'm going to go ahead and give my computer a little time to load, some time to load here. There we go. We're seeing this frontal boundary that's draped across the southern half of the state. That's causing a few showers and storms to flare up across central Texas, as well as the Houston area, which you're probably hearing that thunder outside right now. Not associated with Beryl. You see those highway signs saying a hurricane is coming. Just keep in mind that it's definitely not here yet, but we are expecting that to be the case. So as we go into the rest of today, expect heavy rain to continue to fall at least for the next hour or two. It's becoming more scattered. We could start looking at some ponding on roadways going into the next few hours. Also with some lightning. We're not seeing any wind concerns or any severe storm concerns, but just keep in mind that we cannot rule out a possible strong storm or two as we head into this afternoon. Futurecast has this lingering around at least until 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, lasting until 5 o'clock. And then once we lose that daytime heating, we're going to see this rain chance diminish here across southeast Texas. Right now, we're getting into the warmer parts of the day. We're expecting that we had those 90-degree temps, providing some fuel for these storms to flare up. As we lose that daytime heating, rain chances will be diminishing. And I'm going to go ahead through this again, looking at Beryl. Beryl is still a tropical storm with winds at 60 miles an hour. It's moving west-northwest at 12 miles an hour. We're able to see the structure of this storm sort of becoming a little bit more organized as it continues its track northward. It's roughly possibly 440 miles away from the Texas coast. There's a lot of water between us and Beryl right now for it to strengthen and intensify back into a hurricane just prior to landfall. And we are expecting that landfall to be somewhere near just north of Corpus Christi, likely in and around the Matagorda Bay area, south and west of the Houston-Galveston area. So the latest track right now is we're expecting a landfall just south of near Matagorda Bay, and that's going to be early Monday morning. Early Monday morning is when that landfall is expected somewhere along the Texas coast between Corpus and Matagorda Bay. But the good news, like I've been saying, is that this storm is expected to be out of the picture by Tuesday evening going into Wednesday. So that's going to be it's going to be weakening in a tropical depression. By Tuesday and Wednesday, it's going to be out towards Louisiana. As we look at the GFS American model, we've seen a lot of models, and you've probably seen it around social media, that there's a good possible 5 to 7 inches of rain associated with Beryl as it makes its way inland. Keep in mind that the heavier rain is going to be closer towards the center of the storm. So folks in Victoria, even near Port Lavaca, Edna along I-59, likely to be dealing with this very heavy rain that is going to be moving inland as it moves off towards the north. Even portions of central Texas is going to be dealing with this heavy rainfall. And like I said, 5 to 7 inches of rain. We can't rule out a possible 3 to 4 inches of rain here in the Houston area as we head into Monday and Tuesday. But the good note is that even our GFS model is showing that this is going to be out of the picture by Tuesday. So if you are along the coast, you are definitely dealing with those threats that are increasing as Beryl nears land as it's approaching the Texas coast. This is expected to, we had that hurricane watch in effect all the way from Port Mansfield in the Rio Grande Valley all the way to Brazosport, just southwest of the Galveston area, as well as the storm surge watch. This is one of the biggest dangers of being along the immediate coast when it comes to hurricanes, is that storm surge. We are expecting close to 2 to 5 feet of water inundation possible if you are along the immediate coast, along any Gulf facing beaches. So for folks that are in Port Lavaca, you're going to get a 2 to 5 foot water inundation when it comes to the water or the ocean. For folks in Galveston, 2 to 4 feet, a little bit less than what we've seen for folks down south. But Corpus Christi, 3 to 5 feet of water inundation possible, and that's all thanks to that storm surge. So coastal flooding, a big threat, and that could give us some problems comes if you do decide to remain along the immediate coast. You may not have a road to get out. So if you hear your officials, the local officials, law enforcement, fire department, talking about mandatory or voluntary evacuations, heed those warnings, because you don't want to be stuck in a situation where emergency officials can't get to you in a time of need. Also, the strong wind threat. We're talking about a hurricane here. There's a lot of hazards involved, and so you might be wondering where are the strongest winds going to be with this hurricane potentially as it makes its way in closer towards Texas. Right now, we're looking at the strong wind field where you have the red color. That's going to be the strongest winds. Moderately strong, probably tropical storm force winds in the yellow. That's going to be closer towards the storm center near Port Lavaca, even for portions of San Antonio dealing with the impacts from strong winds. As we go inland, this model only goes out to Monday evening. It doesn't go past Monday evening, but we could be looking at some possible stronger gusts in and around the Houston area, and so that could cause some tree branches to fall. So if you are in the Houston area, just make sure to park your vehicle in a location that's not under a big tree. We saw that with the derecho that happened about a month ago. You don't want any tree or any structures to be falling on your vehicle. So protect your property now before it's too late. And we're already dealing with these winds and the impacts from Beryl as it continues its way inland. So looking also at that 7-day rain potential, we're still expecting 5 to 7 inches of rainfall for folks that are just to the west of Houston. So like I said, where you have the center part of the storm is where they're going to see that heavier rain activity. That's along I-10, even portions of Columbus, out towards 290 towards the Austin area. But we can't rule out 3 to 4 inches of rain here across the Houston area. So heed those warnings. Pay attention to the latest weather forecast. We usually do give updates once the latest advisory does come out from the National Hurricane Center, and there is a set schedule with that. So definitely keep in mind that those advisories are coming out at 4 a.m., around 7 a.m., and also 10 p.m. So right now we had the 10 a.m. update that just happened, actually the 1 p.m. update that just happened. So our next full update is going to be at 4 p.m. This is from the National Hurricane Center. So check back on your apps or on our website, khou.com, to get the latest information as well as the latest regarding Beryl. So that's all I have for you. And like I said, just keep an eye on that timing as well as the possibility of this storm making landfall here across the Texas coast as early as Monday. So looking at that right now, you're seeing rain outside, but just keep in mind that this rain not associated with Beryl. It's all thanks to a frontal boundary that's moving southward across Texas. For your 7-day forecast, a weather impact alert day has been issued from the KHOU 11 weather team for Monday and Tuesday, as we are expecting a landfall at some point Monday morning, lingering into early Tuesday, and then the storm likely out of the picture by Wednesday, but you have some time. You have a good 48 hours through 2 to 3 days to prepare for the impacts of Beryl, because we're going to see some impacts, whether it's not direct or indirect. We're going to see impacts of Beryl as it nears the Texas coast. And as always, you can get the latest weather forecast on khou.com and on the KHOU 11 app.